Hey guys, what's happening? It's Sean1604 coming at you with my first update on our Swansea Football Manager save. I'm going to run through a couple of different things with you today. The first thing I'm going to do is go through the fixtures. Not play too far into the game. I'm going to try and do my updates as often as I feel I should, and as I said, I may, depending on the games, I may end up doing live comms. I'm not too sure yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is quickly run through the friendly games. Not too much obviously to take from these, but just to obviously show you guys what we got. So we got a draw against Den Haag, who I believe are a first division Netherlands team. Then we won our three, sort of easy friendly games: Port Talbot, Newport County, and Bury or Berry, whatever you want to call them. 3-0. Didn't really impress me in fact that we only won those games. We really should be winning them probably more than that, to be honest. And then we had a game against Wolfsburg. This was the main one, I would say, where we lost 1-0, but I think we actually played not too bad in the game, as you can see down here if you look at the shots on target. And we had more shots, we had more on target, and we had pretty even possession. So considering Wolfsburg are a pretty decent team, I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll go in now and look at the Premier Division. So we've played 3 games so far. We lost the first opening day away against Man United. Not too much to take away from that. That's obviously going to be the hardest game, or one of the hardest games you'll play all season, really, to be honest with you. And it was first game up. So to be fair, the only thing that did sort of disappoint me was that Paul Scholes got sent off just at the end of the first half, and we still didn't manage to get anything from the game, and we didn't really look like we were going to get anything from the game. We had a decent amount of shots, but we just couldn't hit the target, and Man United, to be fair, were all over us. Second game was a little bit more, I was a lot happier with this. At home, 1-0 against Tottenham is a really, really good result. Our team played pretty well, especially Ashley Williams here. I think was our main player and probably man of the match. They did, again, they had most possession, they had most shots, but Michael Vorm, whose match rating isn't always, the best thing to go on, but I'm pretty sure he did have a good amount of saves in the game. As you can see, 6 shots on target, and he saved every one of them, so he's playing well. Ki Sung-young scored a fantastic free kick in the 48th minute, and we managed to hold on. It was a bit of last-ditch defending, but we managed to hold on, and it was a good win for us, and it was something that hopefully can kick-start us, and it did. So you can say there are 3 first games: Man United, Tottenham and Liverpool. It's a pretty hard first schedule, considering we've now got Norwich, Newcastle, Southampton and Reading, so those are another 4 games. We should be looking to pick up at least 6 to 9 points in those games, I would say. But anyway, so we managed to get a draw away at Liverpool, 0-0, so we managed to hold on. Unfortunately Miku got injured, but I don't think he's injured for that long, to be honest with you, as far as I can remember. But you can see again from the stats, we got battered. We actually got battered the full game. Liverpool were all over us. They could have scored multiple times. I'm pretty sure they had a goal chopped off, which probably shouldn't have been chopped off, and they probably deserved to win the game. But again, I'm so happy that we managed to hold on, and it shows that you can see there from Michael Vrom's 7.5 rating, he probably should have got a 9.9 rating, to be honest. He was ridiculously good in this game. He made a lot of good saves, so that was a good start. 4 points from that first 3 games. I'm really, really happy with that. I'll quickly jump in and show you the Premier League's table. Norwich, who we are coming against, I think next, or in the next couple of games, are currently leading with 9 points, so they've won all their games. To be fair, I'm not too sure who they've played, but it I've not noticed that actually, so that kind of worries me a wee bit that we're coming up against them, so they might actually be a little bit of a dark horse. But then obviously you've got Man United, Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City up the top, so you can, the league is pretty much split the way you would expect. Reading, West Brom and Sunderland have all failed to win so far. So the good thing is we've got 4 points, we're in 12th place. This season I'm going to be aiming for, maybe mid-table, mid to maybe just into the top of the table. I'd be really happy with that. If I could force a Europa League spot out of it, I'd be ecstatic, but being realistic, I think the board and everyone, I think we're just looking at mainly avoiding relegation would be a good start, and then anything above that is really a bonus. Now we have played 1 cup game, Carling Cup, away against Sheffield United. Now I got this game and I thought, oh, that's going to be easy. We've managed to draw against Liverpool, managed to beat Tottenham. We managed to beat Sheffield United. That's no problem. They gave me a lot harder game than I thought I was going to get. We really got lucky to win this game, to be perfectly honest with you. And Dave Kitson, who I think had a goal chopped off about 10 minutes before that, managed to then score. And then I had to turn up, attacking, turn up the, change up formation and things like that, and really go all out, and managed to get Miku, managed to score in the 63rd minute, which I was so relieved for. And then they took us to extra time. We were really struggling in extra time to do anything, and then Mark Gower, who I don't really play that much. I might do a quick squad report in a wee minute, but I don't really play Mark Gower too much. But he managed to score a free kick, again, ridiculous free kick, in the 107th minute, and that managed to take us through. So I'm happy at least we got through to the third round, but it was a bit more of a chore than it should have been, to be honest. Next up we have Ipswich away, and I think that's just in about 2 weeks I think. And we hopefully should be winning that as well, maybe take us through to the next round. So I'll quickly jump in and show you the transfers. That's probably the next thing we should be going for. So if we go into the history here, not the history of the club, what am I doing? The history of the transfers, that's what I'm looking for, there we go. So we had a budget, I believe, of around about 10 or 12 million, I can't actually remember the exact amount, but it was something around about that. And then obviously we sold players and things like that. So I'll go through the signings first of all. So in fact, I'll go through the outgoings first of all. It makes more sense to do it that way actually, because the incomings are dependent on the outgoings, so I'll do it that way. So the first one we sold was Luke Moore, who was a striker. Didn't see him getting used, to be perfectly honest with you. I think his contract might have been expiring soon, and I just didn't see him making it at the club, to be honest, when I looked at him. So I've seen him in previous games. I had brought him in previous games when he's developed and not been too bad a player, but I just didn't see him at the club, so I sold him for £1.5 million. Sold Gary Monk for 675k to Leeds. I believe he was the team captain, to be honest, but again, he was older, his stats were declining, if anything. If you can see, his physical stats really weren't that good, and anything else, he didn't really have that many good stats. His tackling was only 14, so I didn't really see anything from him that made me want to keep him, to be perfectly honest with you. So he was away. That's just a young boy there that went away on a free transfer. Darnell Satu, Chris Obing, Curtis March and Robin Budwalda. They all went away on loan. Now, most of those boys, as far as I can tell, apart from maybe Satu, aren't probably going to make it at the club. He's still a young boy, you could look as if he could be decent. And Robin Budwalda, who is one of my signings, which I'll come on to in a second, he could be quite good. So, hopefully he maybe develops when he's playing. Notts County wasn't too great a team to go to, obviously it's a wee bit lower down, but hopefully get some game time and some experience. And my last selling, which was on, I think, the deadline day actually, was Alan Tate, who was the vice captain. Now, his stats, to be fair, considering he can play a lot of positions, was actually quite good. He's got good bravery, influence, spark rate, marking. You can see why he was an assistant or a backup captain. But he was moaning. He was in reserves when I joined, so he obviously wasn't getting a game. His wages were like 10 grand, maybe a wee bit more than that actually with me, I'm not sure. And he just wasn't going to get a game. I put him up to the first squad, and I took him off the transfer list, and he was still moaning, and I just didn't want that in my team, so I just thought, right, I'll sell him. Got 1.2 million for him, wasn't too bad. I was quite happy with that, to be honest. Coming on to the signings quickly, so we've got Tommy Hoban, who came in from Watford, who's a young central defender who was really there to come. I scouted around a few different central defenders, and this one really caught my eye for considering his report, which I think was actually 4-star when I looked at him, but he went up to 4.5 stars, so it shows he's got really good potential. He's young, he's only 18, and he's I paid a decent amount for him, what, for 4.1 million, but I think he should be worth it in the end, hopefully. We've got a good Netherlands scout who recommended this boy here to me, Osama Tanin, or I can't really say the guy's name, but he's 4.5-star potential. He's plays striker and attacking right mid. Not too good in terms of stats at the moment, but he's got some decent ones. Fitness, acceleration and stuff. So it's good for a winger, and hopefully he develops into a good player. Nick van Gelderen. This was another northern Netherlands signing. Again, look at his stats for a young boy, only 18, to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orange stats. Bravery, determination, off the ball work rate, technique. That's all. He's a beast of a player in terms of how his working rate is, and what he'll do for the team. So he could be a good team player. And then also, obviously, if he develops his flair and his creativity and his passing and stuff, he's an attacking mid and he can play in the central mid as well. So he's young and he could develop into a really good player. I think that's probably one of my best signings so far. And then this was Robin Budwalder, who, as I said, is now on loan at Lots County. I needed a right back, I thought, because one of my right backs got injured, but he came back and I've actually got enough. Probably hear my dog barking in the background. But he looks as if he could be a decent player, so I thought I'd bring him in. And I did need to get a striker in on the last day, just purely to have a striker, to be honest. This isn't really, it's just a backup. As I said, I thought Miku was injured and I wasn't too sure for how long, so and I was a little bit low down on the amount of strikers. I've got a good amount of attacking wingers who can play as strikers, but I don't really have that many out and out strikers, so I thought I'd try and find one on loan. There was another guy I wanted on loan, but I couldn't get him in, so this was my sort of backup. Ricardo I can't say his name. I've got him on loan from Torino. I've got the option to buy him for like, I think, a couple of million, but I don't see me buying him. I think it's just there, so if he happens to turn out to be a ridiculously good player, which I can't see, then I do have the option of buying him. So those are my incomings and outgoings. I say I'm quite happy with what I've done here so far. My main stuff that I've actually done, to be honest, is for the staff. I've changed around pretty much all my staff, all my scouts, all my physios, all my fitness coaches, a couple of coaches. I think I've left the assistant manager, but I've changed a lot of things around in this part, because a lot of the guys that were here just weren't going to cut it as my staff. So that's a lot of stuff that I've done, to be honest, which is a lot of stuff in the background which you wouldn't normally see, but that's the first thing I look at when I come into a club. What's there already, what can I build on. All the scouts were pretty much not that good. I've got one there now that's this is always what I look at for scouts, obviously judging player potential and ability. So 15 and 18 for him. Roger Cross is 16 and 18. Hamilton is 17 and 19, and then my main one was the first one I brought in, which was Eric Larsson, which is 16 and 17, but he's got good other stats as well, and he's got a lot more scouting knowledge, so he's a good scout. As I said, so I'm not going to go through all my signings for my staff, but that was the main ones. So if I'd quickly jump back to the fixtures, we'll see what we've got coming up. So we've got, as I said, Norwich, Newcastle, Ipswich, Southampton, Reading, Chelsea. So I've got a good amount of games there, which I should be doing well in. As I say, Norwich is a little bit concerning, considering how well they've done so far. I might actually just see how do you get their games again. I can't actually remember how to find their fixtures, but anyway, so they've done well so far. In fact, I can see the results down here. I'm such an idiot, but I didn't remember that was there. So they've played I'm assuming that Everton game. Oh yeah, so Everton, they won 3-0, Sunderland they won 2-0, and Stoke they won 2-0. So they've not had any big teams so far, apart from maybe Everton. So that's maybe why they've done. But to be fair, they've done well. I mean, they've not conceded any goals, and obviously they've won against Barnsley 5-0, which was probably the Carling Cup. So they've done really well actually, from what I can see so far. But hopefully we can do well. We're away from home, which is one thing, so it might be a wee bit more difficult. But hope you guys enjoying the save so far. I've got a decent amount of likes. I know it was obviously the first episode, so I'm going to get more views from that, but I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this. I do obviously have my other series out, which is Bioshock, which isn't doing as well as I maybe hoped it would, but it's getting a couple of views. If anyone that maybe thinks that they would like the game Bioshock Infinite, which is a really good game, if they want to see a walkthrough for it, please go and check that out as well. So if you guys have any questions or any maybe suggestions about what you'd like to see going forward, please leave them in the comments below. It's good to see guys that are actually watching it. I did see one guy that posted saying, when's the next one going to be up, and I'm working on it as best I can in the time that I've got. Football Manager does take a bit longer to do because you have to obviously play all the games. Recording the videos isn't too bad, but actually getting to the point where you can record a video takes a bit longer. Bioshock's a lot easier because you can just play it through and record as you're going. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything, please post them below, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll catch you later. Have a good day. Bye bye.